A dragonborn fighter, a dwarven fighter, and a tiefling rogue and two half-elf mages arrive by a forest river. With no bridge in sight, and knowing that the two half-elves cannot swim across by themselves, the five adventurers were the loss. They tried felling a nearby tree, only to find that the river was much too wide for the trunk. The dwarf and the dragonborn tried carrying the half-elves, only to find that neither could power on through the raging rivers carrying either mage. The tiefling, though she could fly, did not have the strength to lift either mage over the river. So what was the party to do? The solution came from the tiefling, who offered to fly across the raging river and to tie a rope around the nearby tree. So the tiefling flew across the river and did so without a hassle. She tied the rope around the nearby tree trunk and urged for the rest of the party to make their way through the water. The dragonborn went through the raging waters without a hassle, easily making his way through with the aid of the rope. The dwarf went next. When it came to the mages, the first carefully waded through the river, carefully clinging to the rope for dear life. Inch by inch he moved, until finally managing to make his way through successfully. The second mage followed soon after, slowly inching through the river. It was about halfway that the second mage lost her grip on the rope. All of a sudden she found herself being consumed by the water, barely able to keep her head afloat, her arms flailing uncontrollably, desperately trying to swim to no avail. Seeing this unfold, the dwarf attempts to jump into the waters to save the half-elf, but he ends up slipping and belly flopping gracefully into the river. Disoriented, he too begins flailing about in the waters. A chase begins, the three adventurers on shore trying to reach the two in the river. The chase led on past the river bend and towards a stronger tide. There, a giant waterfall greeted them. Pressed for time, the tiefling flew just above the water's surface and tried to grab the half-elf mage, only to be pulled into the water instead. With the three thrashing about in the waters and slowly going towards their doom, the dragonborn and the half-elf left on shore decide to run past the tree and to try and catch them further down. The two arrived at the waterfall's edge, the rushing waters deafening and roaring with power. With a second rope, the duo tried to find a suitable tree to tie it around. Though the trees were thinner here, and it was unlikely that the trunks could support the weight of multiple people. The dragonborn tied the rope around the tree and around his waist before tying another end around the half-elf. The three adventurers in the river came closer and closer, and just before they reached the waterfall's edge, the half-elf on shore leapt towards them and grabbed his companions. All four adventurers halted just before the fall, the rope held tight. But then the tree snapped. Suddenly, the four adventurers went over the waterfall and were falling once more. But once again they stopped, and all four adventurers found themselves dangling dangerously over the waterfall's edge. The dragonborn had buried his claws into the dirt, and using all his strength, just managed to hold the weight of his party. Slowly, we took the time carefully, making our way back onto shore, and we, as a party, successfully managed to cross the river.